everyone, thanks for joining me. This is my first vlog, so I hope you'll be kind to me. So I thought for my first video I would tell you how my visit to the Stitch Festival went at the Business Centre in Islington. So I did a few classes. I did a couple of classes with Claire Tyler Coutures. I will leave the link. And I picked up some really good tips with her. I had a bit of a stress getting there, and I had an 8:30 class with her, workshop. So I turned up a little bit of a sweaty mess. But she's lovely. And the first class was a pattern adjustment class, so pattern cutting, pattern drafting class. So that was really good. Got some really good tips from her. One of the tips, a question I asked her is, when you're making your clothes, do you wash or steam your fabrics first? And she said yes, she did. She either steamed them or washed them. You treat them however you're going to treat them after you've made the garment. So whatever you're going to do to the fabric, you do it before you make the garment. That way you don't have any horrible surprises when you've made your top or dress or whatever you're making, because sometimes it can shrink and do all sorts of funny things when you wash it if you haven't washed the fabric first. So that was a really good tip. But I do that. I've started to do that because I have learnt my lesson. But the good tip that she actually gave us all was, if you're going to do that, then overlock or zigzag the edges of your fabric before you put them in the washing machine, because that is exactly what's happened to me. Otherwise you get the fabric out and it is frayed like crazy, and then it's really difficult for it to lie flat, or you have to sort of recut it. So overlock it, or zigzag your edges, or pink your edges, whatever, before you put it in the washing machine. And if you intend to tumble dry your clothes in that fabric, then tumble dry it as well before you make your garment, which is a really good tip. So therefore you don't get those frayed, messy edges when you go to make your garment. Very good tip. I also bought some really lovely little bits from her. I'll show you what they are. So the first one was this lovely plastic ruler, and it's brilliant because you can obviously see through it. It's very lightweight, but it's great because it's in centimetres and it's gridded, and it's brilliant length. It is 50 centimetres, so half a metre. Really brilliant buy from her. The other thing she had were these. Everybody knows I love a gadget. So this is a needle threader with a light on the end, and she was selling those. Also this, the double tracing wheel. So you might have a tracing wheel, but a double one is brilliant because you can trace out your pattern, and also you can move that distance, the second one a distance apart, so that you can actually put your seam allowance in at the same time. You can trace over it. Brilliant. And the other thing she introduced me to is a brilliant lightweight woven iron-on interfacing. I mean, I'm not a great interface lover really, especially when it comes to clothes, because you want one that's going to stick really well. And this one, I think she said it's a Visaline G710. So I bought some pieces from her. They do it in black, they do it in white. So I bought some pieces from her, but I've also bought more to make more clothes. So those are the bits that I got from her. The second class that I did with her was dressmaking techniques. So that also was good, where I learned about the interfacing and how she did her darts in clothes, and general sort of techniques for cutting and things like that. So they were really good. The class the third class rather, was a trio of zips. It was with this lady here from Made and Making. Also put her details below for you. That was really good. So we did an invisible zip, we did a centered zip, and we did a zip with a sort of flap over it. Really, really good. Totally recommend that class as well. She was really, really lovely. So my other purchases, what else did I buy? Well, I'll show you. So I bought a couple of sewing patterns. I know that Claire Tyler loves this pattern, the Caroline Pyjamas by Closet Core. So I bought that, couldn't resist it. That, I think, was out of print for a little while. You couldn't get hold of it. So I thought, when I saw it, I thought, brilliant. So yeah, that was really good. And I also bought this one. I just loved this. I heard a lady inquiring about it, and I thought, well, I'm going to make that a jumpsuit, and I'm going to make it in linen. So that was another beautiful one. That's Paper Theory, Mercedes jumpsuit. And I bought this gorgeous linen, this grey linen. I've washed it actually. And I've overlooked the edges, so I'm doing as I'm told. So yeah, I've washed that. I can't wait to make that jumpsuit in this grey. Yeah, absolutely fabulous. So I haven't been to a show for 2 years. I'm sure everybody's the same. I haven't been to a show, but I got quite a lot packed in that time. I arrived at 8:30, so I got an early ticket to get in, and I left about 2:30. I was absolutely bushed. Just, you know, need to work up to these things, training. So, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Yeah, so got to do my 3 workshops, came home with some great techniques, and got some goodies as well. So I hope that has inspired you to maybe go to the next show that comes along, whether that be, I think it's Sewing for Pleasure in March, I think, at the NEC. And then, of course, you've got the Festival of Quilts, definitely at the NEC. And I think that's August, it usually is. So I hope you've enjoyed this, my first vlog. And I hope to see you next time when I've got something that interesting to share with you all. So bye for now, and thank you ever so much for watching.